In the spirit of this video, we don't have to be primo. Some screws, a 2x4, some scrap pieces of melamine kitchen unit you might find in a skip. All of this is perfect for making a shooting board. Never stress about the perfect size for a shooting board. This happens to be about 20 inches deep, and we're going to end up with something about 14 inches wide. Okay, so take a look. I've got some broken edges here, but this doesn't affect how anything works. So we're going to put one cut edge on this side, and we're going to use the full width of this here. Okay, everybody uses a different plane for shooting, so it doesn't really matter too much. But think of the widest plane you would use. For me, that's my wooden planes, and they're about 3 inches. So we'll give ourselves a 3-inch runway. This is not critical. You could cut this wiggly wiggly. It won't affect how the shooting board works, but we'll try our best to be neat and tidy for the sake of it. Now, for those of you having kittens that have just been cutting chipboard on a bandsaw, well, I hit a nail yesterday, so that bandsaw blade is pretty much toast. The 4x2 is going to be our gauge to how long we're going to cut this piece. We're going to set back the 4x2 maybe 3/4 of an inch. Total guess, not even going to measure it. It's going to hold the edges flush, and again, there's nothing here to do with accuracy, nothing at all. So this is the first bit that asks for any degree of accuracy. So we want to secure this baseboard to something that's nice and dead flat. So we're going to prepare the top edge of this 2x4 nice and straight. And it needs to fix under there to register. So we're going to fix all the trees. And a bead of glue for good measure. There are two critical areas on the shooting board, and one of them is this edge right here. This wants to be dead square, and because I've picked some old kitchen unit material, there are machine cut edges on this which are more than likely going to be perfectly square. If it's not, it's just a case of putting it in the vise and shooting it. That is what it is. It's 3/4 material. It's very easy to register your plane on the edge. But that is critical. Likewise, you want to make sure that it's square the other way. Okay? Again, I've got a machine cut edge. And again, this is being clever. This is being pragmatic. If you have a look around, you can find this stuff at the dump in a rubbish bin somewhere. Now we're going to screw this piece to the lower section. Okay? I like to screw down from the top so I can see my screws at all times. You could come up through from underneath, but who knows, something might happen one day, you might cut into something, but if I always see where the metal fixings are, I never have to worry about hitting them. So we're going to be using some more PVA glue, and some of you might be watching this going, well, I can't believe he's using PVA, that's never going to stick. Well, here's something we're going to use later on. These are just 2 bits of melamine stuck together with PVA. Nothing else, just clamped for about 4 or 5 hours and it's not moving. Okay, screws by themselves would probably be enough, but we're going to do the belt and braces approach and put some glue on as well. And here's where you want to take the time and check yourself. Make sure that you've put that dead square edge up here, okay? And again, say you made some horrific mistake and you screwed it on like that. It would look rubbish, but it would still work. We're not going to do that. But the critical thing is the plane will be registering here and there'll be a square edge there. That's what we're really, really focused on. And we can begin to see that we've got a bit of a shooting board taking shape. Now we've got another piece coming up which needs to be accurate, but we'll talk about that. Okay, so we want our 4x2 to be overhanging around 1.5 to 2 inches at this end. I'll put a little mark here. Now it's going to make your life easier, like we've got here, a nice edge and a face which don't have any knots in. So we're going to cut that one to length, and again the length doesn't matter that much. And for those of you saying, where are your sawing horses? I do have some at work, but I don't have them here. kind of what you want to see, that knife edge left around, and we can tidy that up with a plane. So back to discuss what's important. We want to make sure that it's dead flat, and we want to make sure that this is going to be meeting up and be dead square as it comes off of that board. And to judge that, you just want to rely on natural light. Hold your board up to the light and just eye it through, and we want to make sure that that edge is nice and square. Now this is the only bit of actual thinking, apart from cutting some bits of wood to length, that we've had to do. This bit of wood is cut and we've got to straighten that out. Perfect. Just a couple more strokes. Perfect. Now, we're going to reference that just so we know. That's going to go against the fence. And that's going to go against the bed. Just so we double remember what we're doing. This doesn't matter anymore. We might want to make it look respectable. That doesn't matter anymore. We might choose to make that respectable, and we will. But it doesn't matter. It's trying to think about which parts have a bearing on what we're doing. And just break those edges, just nice at a touch. And again, I'm sure a lot of people might say, oh, grab a lock plane, but half the time, by the time you lift things up and put them down, you may as well just grab what's close to hand. So, we've got the fence. Let's bring you over and talk about that. So we're now accurate where it counts. We can rest that one down accurately and it's nice and flat. And when we check it with a square, I'm nice and square, so I know I'm getting what I need. We also want to make sure that this end is nicely prepared now. Okay, it's much easier to do it now and to get it right. All we need to do now is really clean up that end grain, because I made an effort to obviously cut it square like we all do. It's only going to take a minimal amount to just tidy up that end. I quite find a plane here like a number 5.5. It's got a nice bit of area in front here, so you can rest it on and just trim up what you need to.
Daddy,
yeah?
I'm going to watch TV instead of the story tonight.
Okay. So we're very close to the finish line. And what we've got to do next is one neat little trick, which will keep this shooting ball going year after year after year. So, very roughly, in the spirit of what we're doing, we're going to draw a line to create two pieces. In an exaggerated way, we can now see off the bandsaw what we're trying to create. I'm going to clean this joint up with a plane. This piece is going to be fixed in position all the time. And then over time, as this gets worn, this area here, all I'm going to need to do is tap it back out, because it's going to be a friction fit, plane that surface again so it extends just beyond. A few strokes of the plane, it's flush again, and you've got a new end, and you can just keep moving that piece all the way. Eventually it gets too short, you make another one. The thing will last near forever. So although I normally like to see the fixings, I'm actually going to be screwing up from underneath into the fixed part of the fence. So I'm going to take the bit that's always going to be loose, I'm going to slide that in, and I want it to be just set back just a little fraction, not much, like, hard to describe, 1/2 mil, something of that nature. Then the fixed section, drop on. We're going to want that one in line with the bed. And again, don't panic here, it's not a critical moment. There's always a way back. And with just one screw in, if something has gone awry, we can usually give it a little tap and get it where it needs to be. But everything is good, so we carry on. And there we have our shooting board. So at the moment that's slack, and the glue is obviously pretty green. We haven't got any squeeze out, which is good. And ideally you'd want to give this 24 hours for the glue to dry. And then what you'll be able to do is really tap that home, not hard, just tap it in so it's pretty tight, and then you're away. So let's take it for a little test drive. Got a rough cut end here. See if we can't tidy that up a little bit. Got a nice square end. It's all cut clean. And like I said, ideally, if you make one this way, give that glue 24 hours to set off, and you can make sure that fence is super tight. But that's it. You can knock up a shooting board that's perfectly acceptable at a scrap that you've got hanging around, and save the up to £250 that you might spend on a shooting board on timber and things that are probably more useful for making projects.